All right, let's go.
Okie doke. Hey everybody, it's Tuesday afternoon. I'm kind of looking at your weather out there. It's snowing over here.
It's snowing here too.
Yeah, today was our first official snowfall. I posted on my Facebook page that winter is coming, and for you those Game of Thrones fans, yes, it was in reference to the series. I kind of went back and started rewatching. I'm up to season 2. Started rewatching that series, but the not necessarily the theme, but the common phrase was winter is coming. I don't know about you, Alan, but I am not ready. And maybe it's getting older or something, because in my 20s and even so, let's see, my daughter was born in 2004, which 20 years ago. So even up to my 30s, I was a ski patroller. So anytime it snowed, I was out on a ski hill. I love the snow. And for some reason now I'm struggling to walk my dogs around the block because it's too cold. So I think that's a thing of getting old. And actually I think I shared last week, and I'm kind of losing track of days, but the awesome news that Apple approved the stock volume earnings app. So it's the second app in the iOS store. So behind me is the Options Trading Today website, and I'm going to post the link down here. But there is a products page which lists the 2 apps in Google and the 2 apps in the iOS store, and kind of goes into what each one does. And in my post last week, I mentioned that I was very excited about the stock volume earnings app because I designed it from the ground up. I sat at my coffee table and it had 8 blank pages, and I actually wrote out what the screens would look like and kind of built the functionality around that. So my to-do list now is to work on updating the 5-minute stock rule app in iOS. I was looking back, and I think the last time we updated was last June of 2022. So it's been over a year with that version. I would like to be able to add a database of stocks so that if you guys came to me and said, hey, why isn't company XYZ, who just went IPO'd a couple weeks ago, why isn't that on the app? I can add it, and I can add it on the fly without creating a new version. The second thing I'd like to do is get messaging in there. So instead of Alan posting emails saying, RTX 85 calls, and we'll look at RTX a little bit later. Instead of him sending emails to 4 different groups, he can message the app, and you can get a message on the app that says, Alan has a new trade, kind of thing. I believe that'll be quicker than getting emails. If you're using the app, it'll notify you right away that there's a new message. So that's on my to-do list. I'm excited. I don't have a timeline on this. It'd be great if I could do this before the end of the year. So we'll see. Interesting day in the market today. We were quite bullish. Beware of tomorrow. Not only does JPow and the Fed announce rates, which odds are they're going to hold steady, but also the U.S. Debt is going to come to the market. They're going to say we need, and I forgot the number, $200 trillion or $200 billion for the rest of the year. And there's going to be a Treasury auction. And depending on how that goes, and this is kind of getting macroeconomics, depending on how that goes, could impact the market. I believe that was 7:30 Central. that they're gonna do that, but don't hold me to that time. But like I said, that could kind of impact what we see tomorrow. Hold on, we got a little update here. So my son, actually right there, is building a it's some sort of Technic Bugatti Lego thing. So, and it's got an engine in the back and everything.
Wait, yeah,
So,
you can show them.
well,
Like this.
the trunk, well, that's okay. It's hard to kind of see.
The pistons move.
Yeah, the pistons move in the car. So he's excited. So he's been working on that the past 2-3 days. It was his birthday Saturday. So now he's a big 10-year-old. But
10
anyway,
years old, man. He ate the phone.
Yeah. So we have a rule in the family that I think it's when you go into middle school. So he's got a year and a half yet, but when you go into middle school, because you got after school activities, that's when you get the phone. So yeah. So I'm gonna let me.
Oh, wait a minute, Brian. Did you say you have a rule that you follow? Let's write that one down.
Yeah, right.
Oh, Jesus. Well,
So-
what's that all about?
Yeah, so Alan and I were talking rules today. And yeah, well, yes, that's a rule that I follow. So let me share my screen. So this is my iMac. It's got iOS Sonoma on it, the most recent one. I've actually got Thinkorswim over on this new iMac. So I'm starting to migrate from my older iMac over. And let me start with this. And I'm gonna start with the SPY, because that's the one that I watch. And we're gonna talk about the 5-minute rule. Because it's like, well, how do you trade this? How do you trade the 5-minute rule? You know, the app tells triggers. So do I get in? When do I get out? That sort of thing. So here's the SPY today. And it actually triggered short right here, which is at 8:40 Central or 9:40 Eastern. Now here's a rule. If you get in the first 30 minutes, and 10 o'clock is right here. If you get in this case, short, expect this thing to reverse. And sure enough, it did. And we'll see that with other stocks as well. So if you get in here, 414.91, either play it light and expect to get out, have a very tight trailing stop, or just plan on selling it before 10 a.m. and then wait for another trigger. I'm not sure if this triggered. High 415.41. This barely triggered, but then reversed right away. This 11:45 is the trigger that you want, because we're past this first 30 minutes. And from here, if you notice what the stock did, and if you look, we're at 416.59. Those 417 calls were going for 50 cents, I believe. And they traded up to $1.10, I believe, which is a double, $1.15. I was taking screenshots as it went along. So here was the entry, 51.52 for those 417s. And then I guess it didn't put them in order. 51.52. Well, here's the trade. 12.56. Why don't I just do this? I'm trying to see. 62, 63. I guess I didn't take a screenshot of. Oh, right here. 417's $1.12 to $1.15. And that was at 12.55, which is right here. So this is how you trade the 5-minute. So now remember, if you're in before 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Central, if you're in the first 30 minutes, expect a reversal and expect to get out. Then wait for another trigger and then follow that one. If we look at, and look at that, Schwab network. For those of you Thinkorswim traders, I downloaded Thinkorswim today and it asked me if I was a Schwab account or a Thinkorswim account. And I'm still a Thinkorswim account. I have a feeling they're going to move everybody over to Schwab. But I also believe that Thinkorswim is such a valuable tool that and maybe I'm, just doing it for my own sake because I've grown up with Thinkorswim. But I do believe that they're going to keep this platform. Alan was in RTX. And look at the day that RTX had. And if you notice, 8:40, 9:40 Central, before 10 a.m. And what did it do? 10:15, it sat and it reversed. It actually mini reversed here, but reversed again here. But if you notice, it never closed below this 5-minute high. So that's another rule. You get in here, you get out when it closes above or closes below that 5-minute high. But this trade basically rode all the way up. And if you look at those 80 calls, well, here, let me explain. So 79.23 was the 5-minute high. A good strike to be in is a strike that goes from out of the money to in the money. So these 80 calls at the open or near the open were out of the money.
How much were the 81 calls?
So let's see here. 1 day, 5-minute. Oh, these are the 81s.
Oh, okay.
So let's see here. The first trigger was at 8:40, which was 8:40, which was here. 8:35, 8:40. So they were a high of $26 and ran up to $1.08. So that's 400% on that trade. Let's say you missed this, or let's say you got in and you got out, and then you saw this hold, so you got in here, which is 9:35. 9:35. Well, there wasn't much volume, but those calls were $21. And again, rode up to 108. That's 400% for those options.
Yeah, you
Now,
could have bought that for 20 and sold it for 108.
right, exactly. Now, here's the question that Alan asked me, and I'm curious. And let me clean this up. So say you got in this trade. Let's say you're in the 80 calls, 81 calls. Would you hold this overnight? And that's what I'm curious on what everybody's thoughts are. If you look at this daily report or daily chart, here's the 20 SMA sitting down at 76. Here's a gap from 83 down to 80. So we've closed in the gap. if you want to look longer term, here's where we are. We're right here. Here's this kind of, if you want to call it a Darvis box. Here's this box here. And then we have another gap here, an earnings gap. So I'm curious. I'm really curious, and I hope that you comment that if you're in RTX calls, or if you were in RTX calls, at the end of the day, would you have held or would you have sold? Alan, care to share on what you did with that trade?
Well, going back to kind of what Brian's saying is we always have to have rules. The reason we sell at 10 a.m. Eastern time, it's an 80% chance that it's going to reverse and you're going to lose. So you want to go ahead and play the opposite. It's an 80% chance. So if the stock is going up, you buy puts. If it's going down, you buy calls. That's just the rule. It works 80% of the time. But going to RTX, to me, it's a no-brainer trade. You want to be in RTX and Oxy with what's going on in the Middle East. Now, for me, I've not done very well with the Oxy. I have a large position on that right now. Raytheon, I had a smaller position, but my position went over $5,000 today, and I sold at 358 in Eastern time. The reason I did is that my rule is if I'm up over 5,000 on a trade, I sell. I bought Raytheon on Friday, so I really did really well with it. But that's just what I do. Now, personally, I think Raytheon's going to go up $2 tomorrow. But see, this is where the gambling comes in. It's just a thought. I could be right. I could be wrong. Logically, with what's going on in the Middle East, Raytheon's going to go up. It's the first of the month. But Raytheon has moved up $3 or $4 in the last couple days. So there is going to be a pullback, and I'll buy back Raytheon again, maybe even for next week. But, you know, right now I'm going to take the profit. But I don't use Brian's logic, because the thing is that Brian could be right and still be wrong. And the reason I say that is because Raytheon could start down $1 down tomorrow. If
Right.
it does, the thing is that I would have lost over $5,000. Now, $5,000 is a lot of money to me, so I don't like to lose. So the reason I say that, if Raytheon starts down $1 tomorrow, you sure is all get out, I'm going to be a buyer. But and then some people question on the trading group, hey, Alan, you haven't posted any trades. If a stock falls under the 5-minute rule, like Raytheon today with a 5-time bagger, as did M&M 3M today, 3-bagger, there's no reason to post it. You should be using the 5-minute app. Now, Brian's going to go ahead and be posting in the next week or two and showing you how well this works. Unfortunately, I got so much going on in my life, I don't have that luxury to be sitting down. I'll be very busy. Tomorrow, I have a date with Minnie at the Cinderella Castle, so I will not be, I probably won't even be trading, but we'll see how it works. If I see an opportunity, and look at that word again, opportunity, I'll jump in. If there's not an opportunity, I won't jump in. If I get an opportunity, I'm going to post it to the trading group. but I need to see an opportunity. So I've been right now, while there's no opportunities, I've been trading the 5-minute bar app. So, but
Right.
all super cool. We went a little bit long today, so I am going to go ahead and let you guys go. I'm pulling up on my new property I just bought. And so I'm super excited about. We got some trees going in this week, and I have to meet with the contractors, so I got to run. If you get a chance, me and Brian are going to be in San Antonio, Texas, at the Millionaire Mine Conference with Daniel Gomez. So if you can make it, we'd love to go ahead and have a drink or something with you. So.
Because we're going down there Thursday night, right? Thursday night to
Yeah,
Saturday.
Thursday,
The week before
Thursday,
Thanksgiving.
Saturday night in San
Yeah.
Antonio.
The weekend before
If you
Thanksgiving.
can't find us at the hotel, we'll be at the Hofbrau Brewery.
Right, yeah. It looks like this. Oh, yeah.
That's funny. All right, Brian. Happy Halloween. Buy your Halloween stocks Hershey. So.
Right. Yeah. Okie doke. You guys have a great
All right.
night. We'll talk to you guys soon. And yeah, like Alan said, hope to see you in San Antonio. So
Yeah.
take it easy, everyone.